Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back. It's Charlie. It is September 12th, 2021. It's about 1:31 in the afternoon. Oof. And it is quite a warm day. I think if I saw correctly, today is going to be like the hottest day of the week. Kind of progressively getting a little cooler, but not too much. But it's definitely a hot day today. I was downtown on Lake doing a video. Had a couple of great questions, but the one that I really wanted to address, because it seems like, why did you leave Worzalla? If it was such a great job, why then did you leave? That's a good question, because I think someone had or some of you had already gone to the website and checked. I try to put links down below so you guys can double check and see if I'm being honest or not, like that. So I'm always trying to do that. I take being truthful with you folks very, very serious. So why did I leave Worzalla? Well, simply, I did not leave Worzalla. It was shortly, actually, after 9/11 that that part of the country, more so than any of the coasts, were greatly affected. That whole part of the United States, the Great Lakes and the surrounding areas, and even south of the Great Lakes, that whole area is the heart of America. I mean, the auto industry, tool manufacturing particularly. Procter & Gamble is in that area. And after 9/11, a lot of manufacturers left the United States. They started going overseas and taking their business elsewhere, and greatly affected us. It really, really affected us. Procter & Gamble was laying off a lot of people left and right, and that's all you would hear. Manufacturing became not really good. I mean, it was really depleting. In fact, even Wisconsin Railroad was laying off a lot of people because, well, no manufacturing. There's no need for railroad. Shipping was halted. Trucking was kind of slowing down too. So it really affected, everything, and especially for us. Literally, for a fraction of the book, you could have already your book quoted, printed, bound, and ready. Sorry, didn't want to get dinged on that. And ready for store display and shelving and everything for almost a fraction of what you would pay here in the United States. And a lot of it went to overseas, to China, Taiwan, and everything. So yeah, it was pretty devastating. And we were starting to see that. In fact, hours were starting to get reduced a little bit. The rotation in the departments were starting to get a little slimmer and slimmer. Me, I was in pre-press. That meant I was, I took the film and I stripped it and had it made ready for plate making and stuff. And I mean, I even did some of the plating and stuff like that, but I didn't do anything of the press in the back area. I did help when some of the they kind of used us, actually. So some of the people are in the back part of the press room, the bookbinding and everything else were kind of being laid off. So since I had aspects of printing and the bookbinding and everything, they used some of us in pre-press to go into the back and help with bookbinding and stacking and everything else. So things were really, really starting to get really, really bad. And mind you, that is an employee-owned company. It's a very, very good company. It's very, very strong. It's over 100 years old. And as I said a while ago, we that particular that particular company, we did a lot of printing. You know, we did a lot of books, a lot of printing of the books that you guys grew up with and I grew up with. A lot of collegiate books and everything that we would do. School, scholastic, a lot of scholastic. And it wasn't until, I think I had only been with the company for about 2 years, quickly approaching 3 years. And the board had deemed employee-owned company and employee-owned board, they deemed it that they were going to lay off some employees. I was one of 49 people that were laid off, and it wasn't a temporary layoff, it was a permanent layoff. So I was laid off. You know, I came all the way from California, started working there for a little while. You know, I had made up my mind to do that and set the foreground and the footing and everything for my future. My future was that I was going to get married. So I had been working there for almost a year, about 9 months, about 8-9 months, I believe. And then I had gone back in the spring to California, to Pasadena, and got married. My new bride and I, we drove all the way to Wisconsin, and with a car in tow, you know, and started settling down and everything, you know, a new future for us. But yeah, I was one of 49 people that were, I think, me and a couple of other people that were outside of the company that were brought in. See, I got that job because I ended up, you know, I got engaged and everything, and I had told my fiance at the time that where I was working, it was just a small printing company in Hollywood. It wasn't going to be enough. You know, I knew if I was going to start a family, I was going to get married, and we were going to start a family, that even then, okay, and that was 1999, 2000. Even then, it was still pretty expensive, but manageable, you know. But raising a family, it just wasn't good. And so I wanted something a little bit more. I wanted something for my family, because I knew we were gonna have kids and everything. So I wanted something more secure and everything, and more stable than being at a little print shop. So I had enlisted a headhunter. And with the help with a headhunter, I went to a couple of different places around the country and had interviews. The people that interviewed me paid for all the trips and everything, so I was flying here and there. One of the places that I almost came close to settling was Quebecor in Tennessee, Covington, Tennessee, though. And I went there. Whew, that was hot. That was in October, and it was still pretty doggone hot. And I went there, and it was okay. I told my fiance at the time, I go, it looks good, you know, and everything. And I had told her, I go, but it's going to be hot. I don't know if you're going to like it or anything. It's going to be a lot hotter than it is in California. And the humidity was pretty bad, so. But, you know, that was like my first choice. And then a couple of days went by, and then I had another interview, hopped on another plane, and it was to Stevens Point, Wisconsin, and that was at Worzalla. I had my tour and everything. I did my little test and everything, and I got to tell you, as soon as I went and toured the town and the plant, I was pretty much settled on Worzalla, and that was a great, outstanding company. And to me, it was second to what I had gotten my start with, St. Petersburg Times. So I settled on Worzalla. You know, I remember I was in my hotel room, and after the interview and the tour of everything of the town and whatnot, God, it was just the most pleasant, you know. And And what really settled me was, and I was kind of torn between Tennessee and Wisconsin, but it was just a little bit more of the people and the town and everything. And it was just like, wow, these people, either they're all on drugs or what, but everybody was just the most kindest. The town itself, the city was just spectacular. I mean, it was just laid out, and the rent, the cost of living was just phenomenal. I mean, to give you a heads up, I was only making $9.75 on board. $9.75 on board. $9.75. I was making $10.50 in Hollywood here in California. And with everything else, I had said yes. And what really clinched the deal was the benefits. At that company, still, when I had gone back over there, actually last night, and checked the website, yeah, the benefits were just phenomenal. I mean, God, what was for my wife and I, for insurance, I think maybe 150, 125, 100 and change, I believe. God, it's been so long. And then when the baby came out, God, it was still just like less than $200 a month for the insurance, and that was insurance for everything, So yeah, it was phenomenal, So they decided 50 of us in total were laid off, and including myself and another guy. I think he was from Kentucky. He was the funniest guy. He and I became really good friends. Actually, we became the best of friends. And I remember that winter, all we were doing was we went to go. He picked it up really quick, but then he taught me how to go ice fishing, and we were out on Wisconsin River, and we were ice fishing and stuff. And for us, ice fishing was nothing more than, we had our tip-ups, we had our auger, we drilled our hole, set our tip-ups, and then we just sit back and drank beer. 4 or 5 hours go by, and that was the whole premise, basically. And even the other guys at the shops, that they said, yeah, you just get away from the wife, get away from the family, go out on the lake or on the river and just go fishing and drink beers and everything. So yeah, it was 49 of us, 50 of us in total. I think it was considered maybe about half a dozen shy of what would be considered a mass layoff. So they didn't, I guess, to keep that from having to pay the extra insurance or whatever, they kept it down to a minimum. So 50 of us. I remember when they decided, they had announced at the meeting, at the employee meeting, that 50 of us were going to be laid off. We had no idea who it was. In fact, a lot of the old timers that had already been with the company for 35 years plus, I said, oh, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. No. And then the lots were drawn. And I remember David, my supervisor, he was such a good guy. Him and the press room manager, Dan, was just fantastic. But I remember David, he told me, he says, Charlie, he says, I got word, and I just wanted to let you know, because, you came out from California, you got married, you just had the baby and everything. And, I love, your detail. You have such a great eye and everything. And he says, I found out that, you're going to be one of them. And he told me a couple of the other people that were going to get laid off in our department. He says, we're going to let you go. And I was like, oh crap, I had this big lump in my throat, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to go home and tell my wife. How am I going to face my wife? You know, we just came out. You know, we just drove over a couple of thousand miles just to come out here and start a brand new life, and you know, lost the job. You know, there wasn't really too much around town. I mean, there's a couple of supermarkets, county market, and then another one down the street, and then you have to go all the way out into Plover, out into Portage County, and then there's another one. There's the Menards. We had a Menards over here, and we had the Fleet Farm in Point, and then we had the Walmart, and then we had Stevens Point Hospital, or St. Michael's Hospital. And I had the part-time job at St. Michael's Hospital, and then I ended up actually, oh God, that was the hardest part. We had a 3-bedroom, 2-story duplex with a finished basement, 1,800 square feet, $950. $950. You couldn't even touch that out here. You couldn't even touch, not even at that time could you touch that out here. And it was just a beautiful house. I think the property itself, our landlord lived on the adjacent, because it was a side-by-side duplex. Same floor plan, just flipped over on the other side. And beautiful finished deck, huge lawn. The dogs loved it. They didn't know how they were going to react to the first snowfall. They loved it. Wetzel and Missy loved the snow, you know. It was just fantastic. And Christopher, he thought it was cool and everything. But yeah, we got laid off. And I remember the one guy, he used to go, he was great. He was awesome. He was actually one of the people that were going to be laid off, and he had already 30 years, I believe, 30 something years under his belt. And he was a Harley dude. He'd actually ride up to go to Sturgis all the time. And I was going to go to Sturgis with him one time, but I never made it. Yeah. A couple of other people that I knew, that I had a lot of other folks that I was friends with that were, you know, they had time under them, you know, they had 20, 25, 30 plus years with that company, you know, and I remember they kept saying, oh, they're not going to let me go. They're not, I got too much, you know, I have too much invested in the company, and I have the stock and everything. And when we all got the word, and we got the word in our paychecks and everything also, we were told there was a list, and then we also were notified in our paychecks. And I remember him in particular. He's like, no, they're not going to. Still in denial. I go, no, you know, looking at everything that's going around, you know, the situation in town, and less and less jobs and everything. I'm thinking, it's just not going to happen. And they let him go. I remember he was devastated. And the thing is that they were offering a great severance packages to, I didn't qualify because I was there with the company, just I didn't have enough time invested with the company. But these guys, you know, I remember the one, he was showing me what they were offering him, and it was a sweet severance package. And he kept saying, no, they're not going to do it. And there was a period of time where you actually, for those folks, they had to respond back to the company whether they were going to take it or not. If they didn't take it at that time, the next offering would have been much, much smaller. And, you know, I know a couple of other people took it, but he was still holding out. I was like, no, they're not going to let me go, you know. And I kept saying, I go, you know, I hope you're right. Seriously, hope you're right. And the next time around, the next offer that came around, it was, I think the offer was reduced by almost 20%. And he he and a couple other people that didn't take it at that offering, at the first offering, lost a lot. They lost a great deal that they would have had with the investment and time and everything. It was heartbreaking, you know, and that was my first and one only layoff, you know, and that was just, it was heartbreaking. I had gone to the employment center after, just within the last of the month or two of being let go, when my date was going to be let go. And I had applied for displaced employee. I didn't know that existed until someone at the office there said that, you know, try to see if you can apply for displaced employee. And I told my wife at that, because she worked in HR, and she says, yeah, let's look into it. And I applied for displacement employee, and they said I had qualified and time had gone by, and we missed our opportunity to actually get help and go back to California. We were going to stick it out, you know, both she and I mostly loved it there, and she grew to love it too, you know. It's not like California. It's not like it is in the East Coast, and it's not like it is in Florida or anywhere else. You know, we got to know everybody. It was wherever we went, to the doctors, the pharmacy, the stores, the bank, and, oh, how you doing, Mr. Salinas? How you doing? You know, it was just the most beautiful thing, you know. And I had never encountered anything like that, other than maybe some old time soap opera, you know. It's, oh, that's just Hollywood. No, this is just the way it was, you know. And so I never left. It was just, they just let us go, you know. And then the family said, okay, well, you guys come back to California. They put us up in one of the properties in El Monte. Her family's not like that, but secure, smart people, financially smart people, you know. So their investments were pretty darn good. So came back to California and El Monte, and the life and the finances never got back up to, I mean, we got our JCPenney's card, we had our Sears card. Our favorite card was JCPenney's. But we were just living a great life, you know. It was just a storybook story, fairy tale or whatever. That was a shame. That was the hardest thing. You know, and when we got back, it was just never the same. You know, I ended up getting a job at Home Depot. I was making $10.50 an hour there, and the money was good, but the cost, you know, and baby number 2 came, and the diapers and the formula and this and that, and it was just eating us up, and argument after argument, and they're splitting. I ended up in Vegas, and because they knew that I was going to have trouble coming back for the divorce proceedings, they took advantage, and I didn't show up for a court. I mean, I had to go all the way from Vegas to California for a divorce, and I missed it, and they took advantage of it, I believe. I still kind of think it was more the parents. Not sure if it was dad or mom, but the amount of money that was said, and I remember on the transcripts, the money that they said that I was making was not anywhere near. I was making, it was quoted, I remember when I got the paperwork in the mail, but that I was making about $6,000 to $7,000 a month. Maybe back in Wisconsin, but yeah, no, just. So I lost my ass. And forever now, that losing my butt. To be honest with you, and with that whole time, the arrears built up quickly. For me, and I shall tell you this, my arrears for child support was $326,000. This was last year when I had last checked. I haven't even, haven't even been able to check my statements because my mail gets ripped. They even steal my my child support statements and everything, and everything. So that's how it is, I definitely want to go back though. I mean, as much as I kept looking and stuff like that, last night when I was doing the video and this morning, yeah, it was. That's how it was, my friends. I didn't leave. I would not have left that job, but I was hoping, actually, when they said that they were gonna let some of us go, I was thinking, oh, please, you guys just dragged me. You guys just brought me all the way from California. You can't let me go. Yeah, that was. I and the other people that were from the two other people that were from out of state, like I was, and were let go as well. And yeah, it was devastating. It was just devastating. So there's your answer. Great question. All right, my friends, I'm going to end it here. It's hot. It's hot right now. It's about 92 now. So you folks take care of yourselves, take care of each other, but always take care of yourselves first. Love one another, trust one another, be kind to each other, help one another. Don't take today for granted or any other day thereafter. Live for the moment, pull down your pants and slide on that ice. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing, we're doing, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button. Tell your friends and family about me, about us, what's going on, and so comments, good or bad, please post. And I know probably one of the questions will be, would I go back? Oh, heck yeah, I'd go back. I can't afford it. I can't afford to. Even if I were to apply and get a job, there's no way I could make it over there. It's a lot of money. So until I win the lottery, pay off that child support, and then go. I would go. Hit the lottery, pay off everything here, get that child support just to where it is, and then I'm getting a U-Haul, but it's a pipe dream. That is a pipe dream. It's going to get bad here in California. So, more so than anything, I would love to get the heck out of here. All right, my friends. I'll talk to you soon.